Hello everyone, I am Uma. Welcome to the amount of about we have discussed about the first in the first Hello everyone, I am Uma. Welcome to the second video of the podcast series. In the first video, we have discussed about the education through the perspective of a teacher. In this video, we are going to be discussing and looking at education through the perspective of a student. The guest for this podcast series is a former student of mine. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So hi, my name is Aikha and I have completed my high school from Don Bosco School. I'm very much obliged to be invited here so that I can give you guys some ideas about a student's life through a student's perspective itself. So thank you.
So tell me, Aikha, how has life been after class 12?
So yes, after 12th, I just took a drop because of my health issues and all. I did get a stomach infection. So yeah, after 12th, I did take a drop, and the best thing that I could have done and did was exploration in life itself.
Okay.
By exploration, I mean I didn't go for vacations and all. I didn't go for journeys and all. But yes, I explored basically my life choices, and I did some drastic changes also. And yes, I am really grateful for that. And yeah, without the help of my parents, I could not have done that. They supported me in every step. So yeah, one of the most important exploration that I did was regarding my future, and I wanted to be a math student, but in this course of exploration that I did, I was interested in coding and programming. One of the reason could be because my brother is also a coder and a programmer, so I got interested. He told me some of the facts that I liked, and yes, that's why I say that exploration is important, because you really don't know what you are good at, or you really don't know what you are bad at if you don't explore. And yes, so exploration is very important as a part of your life. It helps you investigate yourself, basically introspect yourself, and you basically get to know yourself better when you explore more.
That's very true. Also, I wanted to ask you about how important do you think health is in a life of a student?
Health is very much important. I still remember I wanted to give a competitive exam in the year 2023. But I got an stomach infection, so I went to doctors. I kept on going, and it was stomach infection is a severe infection, right? So it takes time to recover. I still remember that we had to call a nurse to our home, and for the past 2 days before the exam, I had to use the saline. They gave me saline, and after that only I had the energy to give the exam. But yes, health and fitness as such is very important. It also keeps you, focused on your track. It doesn't matter if you are studying. Basically, health and fitness is so much important that without that, you don't even want to converse with the person you like.
So yeah, there's this very cliche line where we say, health is wealth, but it is very important that we maintain our health, because without health, there is nothing that we can achieve, isn't it?
Yeah.
No matter how rich and how powerful a person is,
yes, exactly.
A person has to bow down in front of a bad health. So that is very important. So what are the changes that you made within your lifestyle?
Okay, so the first change is, I remember this because this was the hardest phase for me, was because I had to avoid fast food for 2 or 3 months, and I couldn't even eat food which had which was spicy or had more masala than normal food. So I remember just eating dal bhat, normal food, and some traditional foods like mui borok and all. So yeah, avoiding some fast food was the greatest thing, and the hardest thing that I did.
I think so. We should also need to learn some basic cooking.
Yeah. Exactly.
There is a time when parents would hardly teach any form of cooking, when the children are studying, be it a girl or a boy.
Yeah.
But I think so nowadays it have a shift. There's a shift in which we know the importance of learning basic skills, and cooking happened to be one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Because in these times also, like even after your high school, you have to move out of the house, right? You may go to some other state for studying, or like even say after you complete your whole studying and all, you do a job. You basically have to live a separate life.
Yeah.
Basically, you have to do your own stuff, cooking and doing some of the basics. When cooking is the most important thing because like we earn money to eat and then live. So yeah, cooking, yes, it is very important, and I think everyone should learn it. Be a boy or girl, you should learn it.
Okay, so the next topic that I want to discuss is, on the saying that one rotten potato can make the entire sack of potato rotten, isn't it? So, taking this analogy, how can friends influence a student's life? How is it really necessary to be surrounded by good friends? What do you think, sir?
Well, sometimes you do not have the control of what sort of friends you have. I have basically studied in 3 different schools, so I've had all sorts of friends. Some people like who are really good at studying, some people who are really good at sports, some people who might not be good at something, but they're good at something. Let's just say that. So, and yeah, some group of person or some group of friends that I had also where you could say they were rotten ones, but we do not have the control over that. We have to mix up with people of different types and different ideas. Then only we can decide what's right and what's wrong. So I completely do not agree with that line that one rotten potato can do that. But for me, the way I think is if you have all sorts of friends, then only you will be able to decide what's good for you or what's not good for you. So yes, friends can influence them or me as a person. But what I feel like is when you get to an age, I don't know what age, but when you get to an age, you are basically able to decide what's right and wrong. And past after that, I don't think so. Even if you have bad friends, you will be influenced by it because you already know what's good and bad for you.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's important to have all sorts of friends so that you can decide. Again, like I have repeated it, like what's good for you and what's bad for you. So I do not agree with that, but it's somehow important also because, like, if a student is living single, in a single rented room, then he might be influenced in a way more than I was influenced by my friends. So yes, it is sometimes you need to be careful to what sorts of friends you choose. But if you do not experience like different things, then you won't be able to decide what's good and bad.
Also, I think so parents play an important role here, right?
Exactly.
There are times when communicating with parents used to be very tough. It used to be very difficult. Parents would rarely, especially fathers. Fathers tends to be out of the picture, and it's the mother that we are dependent on in terms of conversation, in terms of communicating various stuffs. And for the boys especially, I think so at times it is indeed a little bit tough for the communication part to be done with the mother than for a girl child to communicate with the mother.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is that I don't know about girls, but as a boy, to be able to show the emotions that we need to show, sometimes it is a bit difficult because we were not, what should I say, we were not taught to express ourselves, something like that. But this is what makes us boys. This is what distinguishes us from a girl. So we do not show our emotions. I know that some people will show their emotions, but nothing's wrong with that. All people are different, so they can be different people, even though they are boys and they show their emotions. Sometimes I feel like not showing emotion is a bad thing because it can, it can be pent up inside yourself, and when it, it comes out like it's going to be like really difficult to maintain yourself. So yes, sometimes there are like some sort of problems that we cannot tell our mom and dad. There are some problems that we cannot tell our even like friends also. So we like the best thing that we thought or that we think of is dealing with it ourselves, which can cause a lot of backlashes. Like it can have a problem in your mental state and all. So yeah, everyone has a different way of expressing themselves. Everyone has a different way of dealing with the problems itself. So yeah, the thing that I saw among my friend is, among the boys that I saw is some of the things that they cannot tell their mom and dad. They are telling us, they are sharing their problems, and then we as a friend sometimes we take it as a joke, we laugh it off, but we get sometimes concerned that what is this guy saying, and sometimes we try to uh, pick him up and be helpful to him. And yes, there are some problems that you cannot even tell your friends. So it is very important to have a person in your life who listens to you. And I think I was lucky enough to find some people like that, and I'm really grateful for that. And the only thing that I can tell to people who are going through this is that life will be better. Like, it should be good, like there is always a way of thinking. There's always this two general way of thinking. One is a good way and one is a bad way. Why choose the bad way? Like, if it depresses you, let's like always hope for the best thing that can happen to you and be happy, even if that thing might not come true, but you can still be happy of the thought itself. So don't make yourself more burdened by thinking of the bad stuff. Be helpful to like other people, because being helpful to your friends, let's say, like if they show the gratitude by saying thank you, that can enlighten your mood.
Yeah.
So yeah, to keep yourself busy, because I think keeping yourself busy will help you to not think about the bad stuff. Try to help your friends or try to please your friends, like and I think you will be in a better mood.
So the next topic that I would like to discuss on is the importance of selecting various streams. Once you complete your metric exam,
Yes.
how important do you think is to select the right stream?
Yeah, it's like more important than we all think, because selecting a stream is basically like choosing a path that you are going to follow for the rest of your life. Yes, there are some people who change their stream or change their ideas or something like that, but yes, selection of a stream as such is very important in a ways, because say I chose science, right? So
Yeah.
basically the only option that I have, like visible option that I can see in my near future, is science options, like be in engineering or something like that. So yeah, selecting a stream is very important. And the wrong thing that a student does after metric exam is listening to other people and choosing a stream that they have not explored yet. So as I've said, exploration is very important. You have internet, you can go through YouTubes and all, you can search all the pros and cons of the stream. And I see some people saying that if you choose science, then you are settled for life. It's wrong. Like, it's saying like this is basically wrong, because we all have certain risks in whatever steps we do or in whatever steps we choose.
Yeah.
So nowadays, when I think about choosing science as a stream, it is the most riskiest thing, because yes, it has more job options, because it has more competition as well, right? And the chances of you failing in science is more than in any other stream. And don't choose science because you were told by someone. Choose whatever stream you like. I had a friend, he got 90 something % in class 10, but he told his mom and dad that science mujhse nahi hoga. So like, he admitted his weakness, and that is the strongest will that I've seen in any friend of mine.
Yeah.
Now, so yeah, don't choose arts and commerce because you got low marks. Choose arts and commerce because you like it. Same thing goes for the science. Everything you choose has a risk. Everything is suited for different person. So yeah, explore your options very carefully. Don't listen to anyone. You have internet. You can explore the things by yourself and just go for whatever you like.
Yeah. I've also seen this, massive craze among the parents as to, yes, you were telling that a person gets 90 and above, and the parents is immediately like without a thought, like science.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
But I still remember when I was in school, although those times, like, the second division mark or, the first division mark was around 62, 63 was considered to be a very, very good marks.
Yeah.
And I had a huge issue with science and maths. I couldn't understand, I couldn't wrap around my head around those subjects. And I really felt massive relief when I took arts, because I felt like, okay, this is, so much easier. And I also see, being a teacher myself, I can also see how people struggle when they
Yeah,
take
exactly.
science, and then they don't have any clue about what's going on in physics or chemistry, and
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just an added pressure on them.
Yeah. So, like the thing again, as I said, you have to explore because the science and maths that we do in class 10 is very much different in class 11 and 12. It's like basically a jump.
Yeah.
So, yeah, before you do anything, it is very important to do research. I'm not just talking about stream selection here. Like anything you do in your life, before you are going to buy a phone or a car, you basically you go and search through all the stuff that you can get through internet, right?
Yeah.
So do it for everything you do in your life, not just for buying a phone or buying a car or buying a bike. Do it for everything in your life, be it stream selection or any important decision you take in your life. So, some of the students, they do struggle when they take science because they didn't do their research. That's why I like any junior that comes to me after metric. They always ask me if do I choose science or something like that, and I say, if I tell you to do something and you do it, then you are the dumbest people in the world. So like just do whatever you feel like, after doing research, whatever suits you. And yes, research, it is important before you do anything in your life.
Also, I just want to add few things here. I feel that only selecting a student on the basis of the mark that they have acquired is somewhat wrong, I feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we feel like, 75%, and I'm going to, select that particular student in science.
Yeah.
But, at times it may happen that a person who have got around 55 or 56 can excel in class 11, 12. That is a possibility, isn't it?
That is a much greater.
Yeah, so
chance.
if we can have a much more better way of evaluating student when we, take their, take them into different streams. If they can prove it in some other way and not only, focus on the mark that they have acquired in metric exams.
Yeah, one of the things that we could do, like not I, but as you as a teacher can do is after class 10 examination, we have some sort of gap, right? A sort of vacation.
Yeah.
Let's say vacation. And at that time, if they could go to school and take classes of 11 and for different stream, then I think it would be much more clear to them to select which stream to choose. And yeah, a student who gets 90% in class 10, has a chance of doing, less, like has a chance of scoring less in 11 and 12. And a student who scored less in class 10, like they have a chance to score more in 11 and 12. So yeah, we cannot just judge a student by their marks. Judgment is okay, but have the mentality to change that judgment on the basis of the result.
Yeah.
Like that they do after, they select the stream or something like that.
So one of the things that I have noticed is that, children learn stuffs by doing it themselves, right? Even if we talk about cooking a biryani theoretically is very easy. We know, what are the amounts that we need. But when we try to cook it, then we notice some problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
We need to know the right amount of oil, the right amount of rice and masala, and how much time we need to cook. And so the education system also, I think, need to focus on more of practicals and doing it, because when we say we learn by doing, and the retention will also be higher for those students who find it extremely extremely difficult to retain the studies that they have done.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, exactly. Practical and theory is completely different. Even in experimentations, like let's say in class 11 and 12, they had to go to lab and we did some of the experiments. But yes, the thing that I found the most fascinating was theory was completely different, like from a experimentation or let's just say practical things. It is very easy to like think that I can do this by just studying the theory, right? But once you go to the lab room and you like really experiment on it and you do the things, then you are faced with so much problems. You sometimes forget what you have to do. Sometimes you don't even know the steps quite well. So I think like practical is like it tells you what you are lacking at or what you're good at, and then maybe on the results of the practical you can improve yourself. It's no doubt that the education system has to change. Yes, practicals, like if we add more practicals, it could be a lot better. And some students, they can't learn by just learning facts and all. We have to see some visible proofs that these things work. So just going through the books and reading all the stuff like stated as a fact, it's not good enough. Sometimes we have to challenge ourselves by doing what we have studied, because implementing what we have studied, like, and if we can implement it in a very good way, or let's say like we did implement this without any mistakes, then only can I say I have mastered it. So yes, practical learning is the best thing, and it should be included in every subject, regardless of like if it's science or something like that.
Have you also had any classmate of yours who you feel was better in practical than theoretically? Have you?
Yeah, exactly. I won't say his name, but yeah, he failed to learn from facts, but the way he did his projects, like I think it was the best project in the school itself. And yes, the way he thinks practically is quite different. Like, as a person, we all are, we all are very, very much different. So we have different approach to life. We have different approach to the problems that we are facing. And yes, there are bound to be some students who they don't learn very well with the theory or the books. They have to do it by practical. And yes, I have seen some of my friends itself that do really well in practical than just writing answers on papers.
Yeah. There's this interview that I have seen. I forgot this person, but he had a really it was Shashi Tharoor actually. So Shashi Tharoor, we all know he's very good in pronunciation and he's a very good debater. He's also a parliamentarian, and he was talking about his education as to when he had a very good marks when he had his metric exam. And everybody was suggesting him to take science as in his class 11 and 12. But he said that no, he wanted to go with humanities. He wanted to go with the arts subject. And he said that, when he was asked why he did not opt for science, as his mark was very, very high. He had really good marks in science and maths. And he said, I am good in taking exams. That was the answer he said. And it's really wonderful. And I also have to emphasize on the fact that, when we talk about the levels of merits or the levels of intelligence, memorization, which is considered the lowest form of intelligence, is actually highly thought of in India, right? So as Shashi Tharoor have mentioned, that the reason why he got high marks in his class 10 exam was because he was good at taking exams. That means he had a memorization power. But that does not mean that he would, excel in those subjects. He found it, he was able to memorize those stuffs, isn't it? So the highest form of intelligence that is known to everyone now is creativity. People who can create stuffs, or lyricist or artist. And
people generally comes up with new things.
Yes.
So the thing is, yes, the power of memorizing something is like considered the highest form of intelligence in India, and it has been that way for quite some time right now. And the reason why that is very much gave like an importance is because we do not have the system of evaluating any other form of intelligence. Let's say creativity, or we can say situational intelligence. Like it is there, but we do not know how to evaluate it. Let's say we are in a very dire situation and we have to think of a solution. A person who is good at studying and gets a good mark, he might not be good at that thing, right? So considering the memory power, the only intelligence is not a good thing, and we should definitely create some systems to evaluate other forms of intelligence also. And yes, it is going to take time, but we can only hope for the best. But yes, the power of memorization is good. Like if you have it, then you are sorted for life. It is also a form of intelligence. That's the main point, right? But that's not the only thing. We have so much people who are creative. We have so much people who let's say, even in a situation where we as a normal person fail to come up with a solution, he might have multiple. So it's very important to have a system to evaluate all those things. We hope for the best for the future.
Also, yeah, CBSE is trying its best because some of the questions that I can see in the board exam nowadays
Yeah.
is making a comparison between two chapters and taking the characters of two chapters and asking your point of view on that. So these are some questions that is, that you will not get it when you rote learn. So CBSE and ICSE has been doing that for a long time. They are trying to, stop this rote learning method, wherein you study a subject and then you write it. There's no such questions had been lessened in the new pattern of questions.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
really glad that they have done.
Yeah, and English is the subject that, it's basically an experimentation subject for CBSE right now,
Mhm.
and it's a good thing. We should start from something, right? Like
Yeah.
we all start from something, and they chose to do it with English, and it's a very good thing because some people, like let's say students now who are studying in 11th and 12th, they all have English irrespective of what stream they chose, right?
Mhm.
And some people, the only downside of students right now that I can see is they think poem as scoring thing. But poem can teach us a lot of things, like in real life. Let's say Robert Frost, he is the simplest poet, but yet his poems create so much impact in our life. So yeah, the idea that CBSE they decided to choose, all this new sort of pattern for the questions, it is very good experimentation by themselves, and we like it very much that they're trying to change.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is going to change the perspective of some people, who think that memory power is the only thing.
Mhm. Also, communication is very important. Language, the subject language, be it Bengali, Hindi, or English, communication language is very important. It is also important for
Yeah.
all the teachers who are teaching in any other subjects.
Yes.
Some of the examples that I can talk about is when I was in school, I really hated maths and science. Sorry to some of the teachers that I had. Some of the teachers were really lovely, and I still have contact with them. Like one of the teachers that I have to mention is Orgo sir, we used to say, Orgo Pratap Chaudhary, and he's really a lovely person. He used to teach us biology.
Okay.
And the reason why, amidst all the science subject, I really like biology was because of the teacher. And the maths subject that was being taught to us, I think so there was some lagging in the communication also. So communication skill is so important when you're teaching any other subjects,
Yes.
and it can create a huge impact.
Yeah, exactly.
If the student cannot understand,
Yeah.
the way it is being taught, no matter how intelligent you are, there are teachers who have got double PhDs and doctorate and stuffs like that. But if they don't know how to simplify the topic and teach it according to the level that the
Exactly.
students can grab it,
Yeah, exactly.
then it is going to be just a waste of that class.
Like to be able to speak in general, like it is people say it's a very simple skill, but it is one of the difficult skill. Some students who are very confident, they feel unconfident to speak in front of class. Let's say the reason why they feel uneasy is because they have not done it yet. So like improving on your communication skill is one of the greatest skill, because this is the only way of skill that people can understand you, or you can make people understand something that they have not understood yet.
Yeah.
So yes, exactly, the teacher has to have a good communication skill in order to make his students interested. I have seen so many quality people who lack communication skill, and the overall experience of speaking to them, it degrades.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong with that. Some people are not good at something, but yes, it is very important to have at least to be able to speak freely, to be able to give your ideas freely.
Mhm.
And yes, the only way you can improve that is by speaking, obviously. And I remember in my presentation days, like in 11 and 12, I remember we had some presentation. Some of the most intelligent people in our class, they failed to converse or basically present themselves. So in your future also, like in my future also, even if I work in a company or not, the chances of me getting a proper, or should I say a higher rank, would be dependent on my skill, and moreover the way I speak, because the way you speak, people can judge on that. You
Yeah.
know, and it is quite okay to judge. You know, we all judge some people on the basis of their, how they look or something like that, and it's quite normal and it's quite okay. But have the mentality to change the judgment is the important stuff. But let's talk about the speaking skills right now. By speaking skills, what happens is that you make yourself present there. Like if you do not speak, then you are not able to present yourself. How I mean by that, or what I mean by that is, if you are, let's say you are facing a problem, right? If you do not tell what's the problem to the senior people or the people who are concerned right now, then how will they understand that you are facing a problem? So it's very important to speak, and having a good communication skills. It is like very important in today's generation.
So this is also one of the intelligence where we say
Yeah.
interpersonal, intelligence.
Yeah, exactly.
People who are very good in communicating.
Yeah.
There is another intelligence called intrapersonal. So how well you understand yourself,
Yeah.
and how well you can present that idea to others. That is also a very important skill.
Yeah, some people, they're very good at things, but they can be wrong also, right? They're not God that they are going to be right every time. Tell them that you have done this sort of mistake. They're not ready to accept it. So the main thing is accepting what you have done wrong and working upon that so that you are able to improve further.
Okay, so another thing that I want to discuss is I know there are so many flaws in the education system right now, and before a person could prove himself or herself, the conventional education does not have any ground to which we can recognize that person.
Yeah.
We can hone the skill of that person, but we tend to miss out on those opportunities. What do you think about this?
Yes, it's like basically the judgment of people again. Like what people see is the result. They do not see the work that they put in the middle of that. So there are a lot of people in this country that sees the result only, and on the basis of the result itself, they make them a hero or something like that. But what's important is the process. Without the process, you cannot become a successful person, right? So process is something I think schools should start recognizing, because without this process, or without recognizing the work that they have to put in the middle of it, how can they be successful?
Yeah.
They have to work. You have to run every now and then to be a good footballer, right?
Yeah.
So if he does not run, how can he be a good footballer? So in our school, on just like, let's say the people of India, they do not really recognize the person's hard work. Let's say in America or something like that, if a person takes risk and he fails, he becomes a hero. But in India, it's completely opposite. What happens is, if you take risk, you fail, then you become a failure for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So I think schools as such should first start recognizing the process, because if the school pushes the person to his limit, then I think there is a good possibility of him succeeding, regardless of what field he is in.
Yeah, I feel like right now we are like jack of all trades,
Yeah.
master of none.
Yeah, exactly. Some people, they just choose different things, they try different things, and just hop into another one.
Yeah.
So nothing's wrong with that. It's good to explore, but one thing that is wrong with that is, like if you become a master of one, like the best, then you don't have any competition left.
Yeah.
But if you are just barely good at, like, let's say 5 stuff, then you have all the competition that you have to go against. So yeah, you can learn 2 or 3 or more than that number of skills, but first be good at something, like just be good at one thing, and then the process is somehow similar only, you can follow it. But yes, be a master of one first, and then you can jump into another thing if you're really good at it.
So the education system also has to, I think so, give a backup on few things that we are still lagging in. Like I remember my older brother, he was very good in science, but he was not good in language. So he couldn't clear his class 12 only because of the language paper. So he was bad at the Bengali subject and the English subject. He was good in maths, and he was good in, I think, physics and chemistry and bio. So all the science subject. But the reason why he couldn't clear class 12 was because of those 2 subjects, which our education plays as an important subject. I agree it might be important, but in his case, it was like a huge hurdle, isn't it? He was not able to cross it. Where else, if he would have studied further on taking those subjects, you might be able to, get a quality work out of him,
exactly,
isn't it? So that is, I think, so where we still need to work on.
Yes, exactly. Let's say there is a painter. Like he does not need to learn maths. Like it's okay. Like if you do maths, it exercises your brain, so you become good at thinking. Critical thinking of you as explode in your mind. So yes, doing like every other subject is good, but if he or she is like facing really difficulty in that particular thing, I don't think so. We should judge that like on the basis of that subject only because he's good at something else. A painter does not need to learn maths to be a good painter, like something like that. So it's quite important for us to emphasize that if a person is good at something, he should like give us more time into that particular thing rather than studying something else that he is not good at. So it is quite challenging, but it has to be changed. The system that I'm talking about, the school has to change because there are so many wasted talents in India right now that they are not even getting any recognition. They are present throughout the India, but we do not even know them. We do not even know their names. We do not even know their work because we cannot see their work itself, right? For us to see their work, it has to be, funded. It has to be recognized. But if they're not getting any value from doing what they're liking to do, what's the point of doing something if you're not getting money? Because some people say money is not important, but it is very important.
It is.
You have to live your life, and for that you need money, right? So let's say there is a sculpture, he requires money to make more projects, right? He needs people to buy it from him. There are people who buy a thing from him, but we can only buy them if we see them. If they're not getting funds, so how on earth are they going to be, presenting the sculptures that they created? So it's very important to, recognize them. It's very important to think like they are going to be successful regardless of what they're studying in school, if they're good at anything other else.
Yeah, I think so. That is also the reason why the new education policy is trying to introduce some skill-based learning, exactly for this reason. But I don't know how far we will be successful in terms of evaluation, right? In terms of giving him, so we are still, it's still under the process. We have not much idea about that yet, but the NEP is trying to do some good work. Let's hope that the future generation of students benefit from all those things.
Yes, exactly. The system is the thing that is missing right now. The system to evaluate people on the basis of the skills, because in schools, what happens is teachers follow a set of rules to evaluate, right? Through exams or through whatever they see in the class going through the year. So the system is missing, and to develop that sort of system, it is going to be difficult, but we can only hope for the best.
Also, as a teacher, I think so we still have long way to go. There are so many teachers who don't want to learn and unlearn. This is the new. If you cannot unlearn things, then you cannot evolve as a teacher or as a person. So right now we have been, training on multiple intelligence. There was a time when people used to say, "Oh, intelligence is vertical." People used to say, "Oh, there is a brilliant student, dull student, and mediocre students and stuff." But now the education,
spectrum is
yes. But now, the researchers, people who have studied on this, have found that it is not vertical, rather it's horizontal. Education or intelligence is horizontal, wherein we are saying that there are people who are word smart, people who have memorization power and stuff. People who are number smart, who are very good with numbers.
Pictographic.
Yes. There are kinesthetic learner who learn by doing stuffs. So you can call athletes and dancers, or people who, like sculptors. They learn by doing it.
By failing multiple
times. Or there are intrapersonal learners, interpersonal. There's so many levels of intelligence. But as a teacher also, I think so we still have to unlearn few things.
Exactly.
We are still following those,
Yeah.
the Ramayan ka
Old conventional
old
ways.
conventional things, and we don't want to change. Many of the teachers do not want to change.
Yes.
That is where the problem lies.
See, the thing is, what older generation wants is something unchanged, something that stays the way it is. But the only thing that I can tell the teachers is they don't have to listen to me, but the only thing that I can tell them or suggest is time changes. And with time, even the nature changes. So why don't people change? There are so many things like with the new generation coming. There is obviously a gap in between people like me and people like you. But who becomes a good teacher? Like, if I have to answer that question, is someone who understands the new generation, unlearns what he learned like 15 years ago or 14 years ago, and learns new stuff. I have seen some these teachers, and they are very much liked by the students. But I'm not saying that like all the new ways of teaching is good. Some old ways are also good, but the whole idea is learning the new stuff and comparing it with the old stuff, and then do what's the best. Because not everything that is coming in a new way is the right way, and
Yeah.
not everything that existed is the right way. And so it is very important to evaluate the things that we have. We basically have to learn new stuff. Like when I as a person grow older, I have to learn new stuff. And one good example that I can give you is the coders or the programmers or the people who are working in company like Fang. By Fang, I mean Facebook, Apple, Netflix, etc. So even the senior people who like have an experience of 20 or 30 years, they still have to learn new things to survive. So I think we all can learn from that. We can we should learn the new stuff, compare it with the old stuff, and then adopt the things that has the best value.
So before we move into the next topic, let me just pick up a line from The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, in which he comes across these two roads. One is a conventional path, right? Road number 1. And road number 2, he mentioned it as being grassy and wanted wear, which means that it is a very unconventional road. Not many people have walked on it.
Yeah.
And at the end, Robert Frost makes a choice of that particular road. And that has made all the difference. He mentioned it at the end of the poem. It also might mean that Robert Frost have not chosen the conventional path of being a doctor or an engineer or any other conventional jobs, but rather he had become an author, isn't it? And writing poetry, and that have made all the difference, because we would not have even known who Robert Frost was if he was another doctor or an engineer, isn't it? So that is one thing. But talking on that, our parents are really anxious and worried when we talk about unconventional jobs. So have you had to deal with some of those kind of things?
Yeah, exactly. Now there's a clear difference between a conventional job and the new ones that are coming. So like the thing is, yes, the unexplored ways are very risky, because no one has explored it yet, and you're going to be you could be the first one to do that, right? And you're basically taking a risk. And some people say that if you take science as a stream, and you complete your 11th and 12th, and you go on with your higher studies and all, there is no risk. But it's the complete opposite. Whenever you take any decision in your life, there is a risk to it. Like the idea of you walking to a shop, it itself has a risk, right? Of somebody coming and bumping into you. So yeah, whatever we do, it has a risk, and we have to accept it. Now the thing with this unconventional job is, yes, mom and dad can be a little bit upset, or you can say a little bit worried that if you do this sort of stuff, there might not be jobs and all, and it is quite true. But what's fun, like you go and explore the old ways, or you explore the new ways. I feel like maybe I am a Gen Z person, that's why I'm saying this, but we do have a habit of doing new things. There are so many people doing nowadays what they call gaming. Some people do gaming as a part of their source of income, and they are sometimes earning more than the people who are doing the conventional job. Now, apart from the money aspect itself, it is very important to explore all the possibilities. We have the possibility of you becoming a gamer, you becoming a YouTuber, vlogger, something like that. This type of things, they have more risk generally, and I accept it, but they can be also more rewarding.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you want to explore this sort of unconventional job, you always have a backup plan. Like some people say you don't need backup plan, but this is a real life situation, right? Anything wrong can happen with you. So like having a backup plan would be a good idea, and a good way of convincing your mom and dad also. Like, I do have a backup plan so that they can explore this, and you don't have to you don't have to talk with your mom and dad in a very loud voices to make them understand. You can just state the facts, state the pros and cons, and go and make them understand sweetly, and I think they will understand, and they will let you do the unconventional jobs if you would like to do so. But always have a backup plan, because life is very, we don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen the next 1 hour, right? So yeah, it's very important to just live in the present and do what you can, and have a backup plan if you are going to be doing this sort of unconventional job.
Yeah. So by backup plan, we can also set multiple streams of income.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So earlier, our parents used to be dependent only on one stream of income. So if they're doing job, they're not going to do anything else, isn't it? But I think so now a multiple stream of income is very important.
Exactly.
And in villages, we can see that people are doing, they're rearing pigs, or they have, rubber plantation, and they are, finding out ways of generating some incomes, and that's a very good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, whatever we may choose, what I wanted to convey is that we need to be passionate about things.
Yes, exactly.
So if I am happy and passionate about the job that I'm doing, well and fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
But there are so many people who are slogging and who are, dragging themselves to work.
Yeah, exactly.
And that should not be. We all tend to forget that we are mortal beings at times, isn't it? And we feel like, oh, we are immortal.
Yeah.
And that is where we make mistake. And also, I think so one of the problem that we have as a Tripuri, Tiprasa people, is that we are always told not to take risk.
Yeah,
we are always made fearful about the unknown, isn't it? And something that the Westerners do, our parents will be quick to say, oh, they're Western people, they can do anything. Like
exactly.
So that is a very common way of scaring us, that because you are this, you cannot do this, which is not the fact actually. And the more passionate we are about some things, and when we do something that we are passionate about, one is we will be happy doing that job, and the other thing is that your income will also be generated out of that.
Yes, exactly. And by speaking about the multiple sources of income, due to inflation and all, we do have very difficulties living in this life. I'm not an earning person right now, but I can see the situation around me. Let's say, like even in Tripura, the cost of rent is going up, right?
Yeah.
It's not as much as in Mumbai or Delhi. Like the rent there is more, right? So only having one source of income can be a bit, difficult. But yes, it is very good to have multiple sources of income that you like. I'm saying that you like, because if you like it, then you will be able to do that stuff again and again without repenting, without regretting something. Regret will happen, even sometimes, like even if you made the right choice, regrets are going to happen, but that's just the way of life. So if you like what you're doing, then this is the best thing that you can do, and like it makes the life much more easier that way.
Also, I just wanted to talk to the audience, especially to the younger children who are listening. It doesn't mean that I'm telling you to jump right now and find out ways of generating income. Earning money should be very organic. It should not be like, right now you're poor and within 1 week you become a millionaire. It's not like that. Because whenever things grow organically, that thing will sustain, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And as a boy of class 5 or 6, I think so right now your area of focus should be education.
Yeah, exactly.
And not thinking about other things. But also try to find out ways in which you can develop your skills. So if you're good in paintings, you can learn full-time painting. If you're good in dance, I really want to appreciate the Bengali community that we have in Tripura, because here in Tripura we are living with them.
Yeah.
And there are so many things that we can learn from them. And you will see that a Bengali student will have a set of skill that he's learning side by side.
Yes.
So either he's learning tabla or guitar or sangeet or dance or anything, right? The Tripuri people, I think so, is lagging behind in that particular area, where in only very few people we see the enthusiasm within parents also to give students to those skills.
Yeah, but now we can see some of the students who are doing that.
Yes.
Some of the students, like even in 11th and 12th, they are learning some new stuff, and learning new stuff can be helpful in such a way that you get excited about it. And if you're excited about it, it makes your day better. And if it makes your day like well and good, then you can focus on your main things, such as study. Like, I agree that as a student, your main focus should be study, and you can do some other stuff, such as enjoying yourself by maybe playing football or playing games and all. But your main focus should be study, right? But even if your main focus is study, it does not mean that you are going to be studying the whole day or the whole year. Sometimes you have to take breaks. Sometimes you have to try something new stuff, like maybe play football if you have not played before. So yeah, it's very good if you can explore new things. The main thing about exploring new things is that your mind remains fresh. And if your mind remains fresh, then you are able to focus on the important thing. So yeah, that's one of the best things a student can do, is pick a thing that you want to learn and just learn it, keep your mind fresh, and go on with your day like fresh mind.
Yeah, even the greatest of the scientists, like Albert Einstein, had this passion for playing violin, isn't it? And it was like when he was around 6 years of age, his mother have not kind of forced, but asked him to take up music lesson, and this remained throughout his life. And I think so, at times when he was stressed and working day and night on some theories or some problems, the music can act as a means of escape, or to bring him afresh, to reboot his mind, isn't it?
Yeah. We as a human being, I think it was said by an actor, I don't remember the name of the actor, but he said we have two lives. The first one ends when we know that there is only one life. So we sometimes think like, we do not think about death, but when we start to think about it, what we understand is that our life is much more priceless. Like we cannot put a value on it, right?
Yeah.
If you think like that, I think the meaning of life is exploration, and the meaning of life is the journey of the life. As a 19 or 20-year-old boy, I don't know what life is. So the meaning of life is to find what life is. And so I feel like if you think like that, you would want to know more stuff. You would like to learn more stuff. And it is a very important thing to not be stagnant at one thing, and just keep on exploration, and to find the stuff that you are good at, to find the stuff that you're bad at, and yes, basically find out your strengths and weaknesses and work on that. And maybe the things that you like may become your source of income in the future.
So Aikha, tell me, what is the biggest lie that you have heard?
The biggest lie? It could be the lie that I've heard since class 10, and then I heard it again in class 12. Now I'm hearing it again, and that's life after some point will be good for you, or will be easy for you. That's the biggest lie. Like when I was in class 9, some of my teachers said, like, if you complete your class 10 and you give the exams and you score a good amount of marks, then your life is going to be sorted. Which is the biggest lie that I've ever heard. After class 10, the problems it increases. You basically choose a stream, and depending upon that stream, your life is going to be more difficult. And some people say in my when I was in class 11, some people said that if you complete your class 12 and give a competitive exam and you pass, and you give it and you get a good score, then your life is going to be sorted. I have done that still, and I have not found my life easier than, let's say class 8. So like this is the biggest lie that I've heard, and what I've understood is problems are going to come. Like it's not going to stop until you die. So what's exciting about life is dealing with all these sorts of unseen problems that you have, and facing it with the way you are, and you make up what should I say, you make the unique solution to it to end the issue. And yeah, that's what life is, and life is never going to be easy. It's just going to be more harder, and more problems are going to come.
So, basically, we're talking about resilience.
Yeah.
We're talking about how resilient a person is.
Yeah.
The more the person will able to face any sort of,
Problems.
any sort of problem that is thrown into his or her face.
Yes.
Grit and resilience. It's very important. According to a survey that was done, and when people were trying to find out who the most successful person was,
Yeah.
or who are the people who are not going to leave a particular course, it is found that it is not the brilliant student, but rather the student who had the most grit and resilience, who are able to continue with a certain program or a certain training,
Yeah, exactly.
or anything. So it's very important.
Yeah, like I don't know what successful, like what being successful is, but some of the most successful people on this world, like they are the most failed ones, because they did everything that they could try. They did all the, let's say they did 10 things, right? They failed on those 9 things, and then they succeeded in the one thing. That's why they are successful right now. So to be successful, you have to fail first, because without failure, you won't be able to see your next process. Some people take failure as the final thing, but it's not the final thing. Let's say failure is not the final thing, or let's say the failure is not a fatal thing, and success is not the final thing as well.
Yeah.
Because we have to keep on moving. We have to. Some people say that after 60s, after I retire, then I will enjoy. You will not be able to enjoy after 60s, right? You are basically going to have work till you die. At least some basic things you have to do, right? So take life as if you are a person who is traveling, and you are basically exploring a unexplored journey. So take life as that, and it is very important to be resilient, because you are going to be regretting a lot of things. Life without regret is not life. We all do regret something in our life that we have done, and regrets can teach us a lot of things. Like in what ways a life can be unregretful. Like we choose so many options in our life that is very that have a negative impact on our life, and we do regret it, and it's quite okay to regret it. But being regretful is the, what should I say, indication of you trying to be a better person.
Yeah.
So yes, regret, but don't make it the final thing. Don't make failure the final thing, and success is also not final, because you can always keep on moving.
So I also just want to add here that as we're talking about a person trying 10 different things,
Yeah.
and 90% of the people after say 10 things, and we stop.
Yeah.
We don't have the tendency of continuing till the 9.
Exactly.
As your story goes, after failing in 9 things, the 10th thing might be a successful one.
Yes, exactly.
But many of us walk only till 5,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And then we don't try the other rest. So there are so many stories of success, wherein we are only talking about the success. We're not talking about the perilous journey that the person
Yes,
has
exactly.
taken, isn't it? And we tend to stop. We tend to be impatient.
Yes, some
And-
people, what they do is they stop hoping.
Yeah.
And I feel like in this world, the only thing that makes us walk apart is hope. Like if you stop hoping, then what's left? There's nothing for you to do, right?
Yeah.
Like if you stop hoping, like it is something like that. You miss every bullet that you do not take. So if you fail at one thing, like I can understand why people, lose their hope, is because some people might be their friends. They do not support them. Let's just say that they say, stop it. What are you doing with your life? Just go on with this job and live your life. That's the wrong way of dealing with someone who has dealt with failure. So what's important is encouraging them, You might not be good at encouraging, but listening to them is the best thing that you could do, and it could increase their hope. And one thing that I would like to tell people is don't stop hoping, because hope is the only thing that is like indicating us to work every step.
Mhm. Also, I see so many young people, being hopeless at the age of 18 and 19, which is just the starting of, just the
Life.
starting of your life. And if you look at some examples, like there's this very famous designer, Vera Wong, I think so, who started designing her first dress only after the age of 40.
Yeah, exactly.
So there is no right time, or sort of, there's no delay in anything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Many young people, students, they feel so hopeless at the age of 18 and 19, and they start losing hope.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I just want to tell them that, life has just started. Just keep on hoping, keep on doing what you're passionate about, exploring, as you have said before. And
I think I've
it is-
used the exploration word many times.
yes, so I think that's the only way in which we can find how and what are the things we are passionate about.
Yeah.
Because when you do something that you're passionate about, you will not stop doing it. And and money is something that will keep on coming.
It's
Once-
sort of a byproduct.
Yes, it's something that you will be able to once you do something that you're passionate about.
Yeah. And don't stop hoping. That's the main thing, because some people say that past and future is not important, but I think it is important. On the basis of your past, you think of a future, right? And on the basis of that future, you are working in the present. So all these things are connected. Just don't make past and future everything. Sometimes remember that you have to live in the present also, because present is the nearest future, right? So yes, depending upon the past, like all the decisions that you have taken, it might be regretful, but depending upon that, you think of a future, and depending upon that future, you hope, and depending upon that hope, you work on the present, that is the nearest future. So don't stop hoping. That is the only way a human is a human.
So that was indeed a very, very insightful talk on various topics. At the end, what do you want to say to all the students out there, your juniors, and the people who are right now in their class 11, 12, and they might be hopeless? What do you want to say to them?
Yes, the only thing that I would like to say is it's sometimes quite okay to be hopeless. It's quite okay to be, what should I say, to be not in the way of finding a solution for your problem. So the only thing that I would like to tell is just keep on, hoping. By hoping, I mean do all the little things that make you happy in life. Let's say even the littlest thing, like going on a walk alone without taking any friends. Sometimes it can be refreshing. Sometimes it can give you a new perspective of life. So the thing is, there are some problems that we cannot tell our friends. Sometimes we cannot tell our mom and dad. Sometimes we have to deal with it ourselves. And being regretful, it is also quite a good thing, because you know that you did something wrong and you are going to work upon that. So it is very quite important. And one important thing that I can tell to the juniors is that if you have any problems along with your friends, try to go and ask for seniors, because they might have lived longer only for 1 year than you, but they have lived longer. That's the important thing. And living a bit longer is it gives you a lot of experience in life. So if you have some sort of problems, you can always go to your seniors. And I feel like the seniors are, they will help you in any way they can. So that's it. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Aikha, for being here and having this wonderful conversation from your perspective. I hope you all had great fun listening to this conversation. Thank you.